Attack the enemy! Victory is ours!
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back for more middle, higher tier Japanese tank gameplay. This is a battle from 7 December, and I had gained a 500% research booster from the Daily Wheel of Poverty spin, and boy, did I make good use of it here. I did not yet have a talisman on my Ho reproduction. I do now, and this was part of the reason that convinced me to do it, but tomorrow's video will be the real kind of catalyst where I decided, okay, I've got to put a talisman on this thing no matter what for my Japanese lineup. Anyway, 500% research boosters are always pretty darn good to have, and you can really make some serious RP gains both in your modifications and in your vehicle grind. And I did just that today with a 500% booster. So we're rocking on up to the B point. I'm hoping that the Tiger in front of me is going to wait for everyone, but if he doesn't, I can at least make it in there and get 5 times the research for capturing a point. Not exactly sure why he decided he had to push over to the left like that, except maybe he was trying to make room for everyone, which kind of makes sense, but I was at least able to get myself somewhat lined up to make it into the capture point here before everyone else arrived, thankfully. Because the whole reproduction is fantastic, and I love it, but it doesn't quite have the side-to-side mobility, maneuverability that you might want. And then, of course, sometimes you just wonder what people think everyone else is doing when everyone's waiting at the capture point and they just blow right on through past everyone and drive into the cap. But at least I was already there, ready to move in and get 5 times the research to go along with the 300 extra SP. So a very good start, and right away I consider the 500% research booster not to be wasted because I at least gained something. But it's time to move on and gain more with one of my most favorite vehicles ever in this game. As I believe I may have mentioned once or twice before, and will surely mention again, because God, I love driving the whole reproduction. So I'm making my way carefully, but quickly, up to the B point, or the C point, sorry. It's in the middle, it feels like it should be the B point. And what are we going to discover when we get here? But of course, some enemy making it up just about the same time that we are. As predictable as the daylight. And what you can generally count on is enemy driving past capture points and trying to get beyond them, which isn't actually a bad tactic, but it's a little nerve-wracking when you see enemies all over the place. And here comes another enemy that's a little bit nerve-wracking to see on the other side of a capture point. He stops me from capping the C point, of course, and then I'm hoping I can move in and get a fast turn around him and maybe get the drop on him, which is going to be tough, but hopefully if the Tiger behind me can keep his attention, I can move in and skid my tank to the side and get a good shot into him before he can react to me. And that's almost what happened, but not quite. I've had better turns in my whole reproduction, but at least I did survive and only lost 2 crew members there and didn't, more importantly, didn't lose the breach or the cannon barrel. So I was able to reload and back off and wait for the enemy to move up on me. Didn't go quite the way we wanted it to, but it didn't go as bad as it could have either. You can hear an airplane coming in, and it's definitely not friendly if you look on the minimap, and it's also strafing at me. But didn't do any damage to me, and then I pushed back up into the C point, even though I'm getting hit with artillery. And there's our friend again. Broke his track there, and now I've got a slight initiative to move in on him. If I can reload fast enough. I'm just going to make absolutely certain that that track is broken, and then see what I can do to move around him and get a kill shot into his side if I can help it. After I back away from the scary, scary artillery barrage. almost had a shot at an IS-2, but thankfully someone else got him before I could get to him. And then had a bit of a whoops moment as I came around the corner on a Centurion, but thankfully he blew his shot at me and I was able to get a lower front plate kill shot into him. Which I think he'd have, honestly, I think he'd have been better off just not shooting at me at all and just accepting both of us backing away from each other. But the old T-34, he did at least buy time for the T-34 to repair his track and move in and kill me, but it wasn't too bad of a start for the Ho reproduction all the same. And we did keep the enemy from taking the C point, at least up until I could respawn in my Type 61. I do like driving my Type 61. I almost called it a T61. I do like driving the Type 61 as well, but the lack of stabilizer does get frustrating a little. Now, the Ho reproduction also, of course, doesn't have a stabilizer, but at least with the Ho reproduction, you're not moving quite as quickly, and you don't have the turret to turn either, as compared to the Type 61. So the lack of stabilizer is less detrimental to the Ho reproduction than it is to the Type 61, I find. So I debated firing my artillery up on the forward guy at C, but then I had a much better target present itself closer to the B point, so I put the artillery there. And then I take a hit from I can't tell exactly where, but then recognize that my Whirlwind is shooting at someone back behind us and see a cloud of smoke over there and realize that's got to be where I'm getting shot from. So naturally, someone has gone for our spawn, because why wouldn't you? It's War Thunder after all. So I got a massive ammo hit with Heat FS and got no detonation. I mean, at least I cost him all of his ammo, but doesn't really do any good if you're stuck in place, even though I was able to fire my smoke off. And then we get bombed, and I have to restart my repair, and my breach and tracks are broken, and my barrel is down, and I'm just stuck here waiting. Because some people gotta go for the spawn instead of the captures. On the plus side, he wasn't gonna be able to go after our spawn too much longer, as he only really had one shot of ammo left. But naturally, he was able to relocate and get a kill shot on me just the same, because I was stuck there trying to repair. At least he had no ammo left, though. So as soon as I spawned back in, I already had my cursor ready to mark him, and I came back in with my M42 and decided I'm going to chase him down. And I'm going to end this spawn camping adventure he's having one way or another. Whether someone else kills him by me marking him or me killing him myself, I don't care. I can't stand someone being back at our spawn, especially when we control the capture points. So that is my goal. Plus, we've got plenty of aircraft in the air, so I'm not so worried about anti-air work at the moment.
Attention to the map.
So I don't know, he must have had a completely full ammo load because he's still getting kills. And then he gets knocked out there finally by a Tiger H1, but obviously he had more than just the most forward ammo rack loaded. Probably it was full because I completely eliminated all of his forward ammo, but at least somebody else did take him out, and he was no longer able to threaten us coming out of our spawn. So back forward we go. Bit of a waste of time for my 500% research booster, honestly. That was the most annoying part of the entire thing, really. But at least an enemy aircraft came about and gave me something to shoot at to do my actual anti-SPAA job. But there wasn't much chance of hitting him while I was driving, and I didn't really want to come to a stop as, for one, that enemy aircraft was being chased by a friendly aircraft, so we'll let the friendly aircraft do his job without shooting at him and accidentally hitting him. And secondly, we've got two of the capture points being actively contested and threatened, and I can do better work at those with the armor-piercing round belts that I have for my M42 than I probably could do against the aircraft anyway, with the rate of fire for the obsolete 40 mil pom-poms on the M42.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
The rate of fire doesn't exactly lend itself to anti-air work. If you get a hit, it's great, but it's awfully tough to get a hit sometimes. So there's somebody shooting down the road here. It's a couple of enemy tanks. And I don't know how, but I absorbed and deflected a hit into my engine deck there from a solid shot British tank. And honestly, I have no idea how that could have possibly happened. Instead of turning back towards the C point like I really should have, I made a right turn and went up towards the A point, kind of hoping that I was going to catch them by surprise and do the unexpected thing, which was move into the attack rather than go for the run away move, which I really should have. And it actually worked. I don't think they expected me to come in from behind them at all. And unfortunately, I did not get the good hits that I wanted into the engine deck to start a fire there, but at least I was able to start a decap on their A point and start a small ticket bleed with our captured B point again. And then decided I'm going right after the capture here and not giving this guy time to get around on me. And then I was able to get a few good hits into his engine. And just as I get a fire started on him, somebody comes around the corner, hears me shooting, and knocks me out. But the battle was only temporarily over, because shortly thereafter I got a kill damage assist from a Tiger II killing the FV-4202 that I had set on fire, and I was back in business with my M41A1. Thankfully, I still had the M41A1 in my lineup because it was about the fastest possible thing that I could have had to race forward and move in back towards the A point. So I know there's still another tank up there, or at least I thought there was, and drove forward to catch back up and warn my enemies about the other Centurion Mark III up there who had knocked me out. Got a little bit of a shot in on an enemy fighter, although I couldn't quite find the distance and the lead on him to get actual hits. I did actually get a hit there. That was not a kill damage assist. That's the bug again, where you get a hit on someone and it tells you assist instead of just hit. But that's all it was. It wasn't a very good hit on the enemy fighter. It was just a single machine gun hit, and that's all. So continued pressing forward, took a little bit of a strafe there that thankfully didn't cause any damage. Put some artillery up in front towards the A point to help screen our team with some dirt flying up, if nothing else, from enemy hanging back in the woods and guarding the A point, and then pressed on forward. No sooner do I arrive at the B point than someone starts decapping it. Well, it's a good thing that I was here and fired the artillery that I had not shot because my teammates were way too close to it, and moved in towards the B point to recapture it. Looking around to figure out who had taken it away from us, and not seeing someone, which was a little strange. So somebody's around here close, but they're not actually at the B point, so presumably they had capped and then gone off to go after our spawn again.
Most of the zones are under control.
Got a recapture on the B point, which is always nice for a 500% research booster, as stated at the beginning of the battle. Very happy to get the recapture. Still not exactly sure what happened with the decap, but I'm going to keep moving forward here and see if maybe they'd capped and then ran back. This plane really wanted a piece of me, and I really wanted a piece of him too, but I just couldn't quite get the hits down on him that I needed. Although he did press the attack to the point of crashing into a building behind me. I didn't really kill him per se. I was just shooting him, and then he flew into a building. So yes, I did damage to him, and that's why I got credit for the kill, but it wasn't really a tank airplane kill. I wish. I should have had a much better shot with the main gun there, and I had a perfect shot into his engine, and I just screwed it up and missed it, but at least I got credit for an air kill, which always works well in a tank battle, but it's so much the better when you've got a 5x booster on. So eventually I make it back up to where the A point is, spot an enemy driving forward. It's an M16. Sad for him, but good for me. That's another kill I can get towards the 500% research booster. And of course, he could have easily destroyed me with the quad 50 mount in the back, so it's not like I really felt bad about killing him. At least I wasn't driving some big heavy. Put artillery back in the middle of the town on the only enemy I could see marked. It's a little bit dangerous because we've got friendlies nearby, but worth the risk for the 500% booster. And then Tokyo drifted my way into the A point to start decapping it. Switched myself over to the smoke grounds and started giving myself a little bit of cover in the cap because there aren't that many enemies left. A couple of them are in air, and I'm all alone up on the A point, so the more cover I can get here, the better, because I'm kind of trying to force multiply. I did decide, you know what, it's decapping, we've got a humongous ticket lead, I should go back and try to help our guys back here so that we don't lose any of them. So I switched back over to APDS rounds, left the capture point, and went in to try and help my guys out. And right as I'm arriving back up at the battle, they are finishing off killing out all the enemies that were up here, so made a loop around and then went back in to finish capturing the A point. The team ended up dealing with the enemies that were left well enough on their own, so be it. Back into the cap, switch back over to smoke grounds, look out for the artillery coming down, and start smoking it up again. I'm pretty confident this battle's going to go well for me, and then I get bombed out by the P-47D5. Now there was, as you can see, an M19 coming up, so I don't know that I would have survived there anyways, but one more capture would have been really sweet for the 500% booster. I did have enough points to come back in either of my aircraft. I chose the Kika for speed purposes, because you can see there's not a whole lot of tickets left, and I want to get a revenge shot on the enemy aircraft that are up. The thing that kind of made me just a little bit mad was that nobody said anything about enemy aircraft coming in. I didn't see them either, but it kind of makes you wonder, did anybody at all see enemy planes coming, and did they just not say anything? Because it would have been nice. I jettisoned the bomb to gain a little bit of speed and get in on the enemy fighters, but the game ran out of tickets before I could get in on them. But still, as you'll see here, I got 6,000 research for finishing up a type modification, a tier modification for the Type 61. I also finished up my adjustment of fire research for my M42 Duster. There's the research finished up for the Type 61. I went with the engine next because I was done with the first 3 tiers. And I finished the parts for my whole reproduction and was able to get a pretty significant jump on the horizontal drive after that, which is something that'll happen with a 500% research booster. You're probably going to finish some modifications. So as you can see, I got 16,600 research towards the Type 60 ATM from this battle. That, along with the 6,000 research for the Type 60 here, I got almost 23,000 research completed total for the Type 60 ATM. That's a pretty good result, considering that I only had a 6th place battle with 2 kills and an air kill and a couple of captures. That's a pretty good result. And when you see tomorrow's battle, you'll wonder why I didn't save the 500% research booster for that, but the answer is honestly because I wouldn't have still had it. Anyway, I love big boosters, what can I say? I should say I love big boosters and I cannot lie. But otherwise, I'll see you guys next time for more War Thunder. Thank you all for stopping by and checking this one out, and have a great day, and go out and get those boosters, guys.